Man, thank goodness. It's uNrekt.
Welcome to the HEX Late Show. It's 43 OG here, coming to you from Melbourne, Australia. I've got the crew out the back. We've had a crazy week in crypto, and we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it tonight on our show. There's all sorts of stuff going on. There's liquid loan sacrifice. There's the launch of Hedron. And we've got bitch tits of the week. We've got Hexagon legends. We've got all the stuff happening tonight. So thanks for joining in, guys. G'day to everyone in the chat. And without further ado, I'm going to bring everyone up. Hey, Bluey. Hey, Jexxa.
Hey, everyone. How's it going?
Hey,
Sammy.
How's it going? Hey, everybody.
Yeah, going really well. Excellent.
It's been a whirlwind week, hasn't it?
It's been huge.
Lots of stuff going down.
I think we need to get used to this pace, because when a new chain launches, there's just going to be new things every week. There's going to be something popping up, and yeah, it's going to be awesome. Can't wait.
Yeah, it's been the best ride, really. Like Hex has been the best kind of ride at the showground, no doubt. Like there's always something. Oh, yeah. You don't have to wait a couple of days until it's something else, isn't it?
There's always something.
And if there's not, we'll create something.
Like early on, I said, we got the tickets to the best show in town for the next 15 years at least, and it's like proven so true so far.
We've got tickets, mate. We're on the stage, bro. Yeah. We are on the stage. What are these tickets?
Well, we're all in the audience as well, aren't we?
Yeah. We're observing. Hey, so tell me what's been of particular interest this week? As everyone knows in the chat, we run pretty unscripted here at the Hex Late Show. We have a few things we like to talk about. I say that we should probably talk about the Hex price. What is the Hex price doing right now? Last time I checked, it was in that high 13s, 14-cent territory. And we were just dancing around that.
Yeah, that's pretty much where we're at now. So hopefully could that be a double bottom? That's what I think we'd all like to see, is it find support there and build a base to go up from. That would be nice. Yeah,
absolutely. Do we have a chart? Does anyone have a chart on them that we can?
I've got a chart. It's not. Well, it's a pretty basic chart, but we can chuck it up there. Let's have a look.
Let's throw it up. Let's give everyone in the audience something to look at. Hey. Okay. So there we go.
I've hardly been looking at the price at all.
Yeah. So this is on V2, but I mean that's a good little bull flag there if it plays out that way, isn't it? If we can get that to come off, we've been here before. And when we get to a big exhaustion phase like that, where all the sellers are out, that gives us a good base to move up from. So let's hope that's what we're seeing here. We've seen some pretty crazy moves when we've seen this sort of downside action in the past. We've seen it before after big payday, and I think we've had a couple of others where we've had 65, 70% pullbacks. This one's probably been a little bit more protracted. But I think you got the broader market that's softened as well at sort of the same time. But yeah, Hex typically has moved to the beat of its own drum. This would be really good to see if it continues to do that.
It looks to me, it's looking like probably the biggest pullback and the longest pullback we've had. Maybe not the biggest, but close to it.
Yeah.
The longest sort of sideways, a little bit down action we've had. The time when I remember that we did that for a while was when we were at that point. We got to that point, 0.65 of a cent. Remember in 2020, we got to that 0.65 of a cent, and then we sort of just kept going down, and we couldn't break past that very.
Oh, was that pre-big payday?
Yeah, that was pre-big payday, and we just tracked sideways for a little while there.
So is this zone here you're talking about?
Yeah, I think that was it.
That's the full chart, hey? Is that the weekly or something?
Yeah, So this is point. So the price you're talking about there is 0.006 was that pivotal point where we broke out there. But you're right. That was, I think, that was quite a long period there. 162 days. And then
almost half a year. Almost half a year to, and it feels like that's what it's feeling like to me now. It's like we keep going down. And do you know what I remember, Jexxa? Back then, I remember people talking about we're going to a 1/10 of a cent. They were talking.
If you look at that in isolation, that's just lower.
Yeah.
It looks bloody awful. But then people exhaust all your sellers. Yeah.
And they were talking about it going down quite hard. And that's what it's looking like to me now. And look, I can't predict the future. I've got no idea. None of us know what's going to happen. But this is what has happened in the past, at least. Like you said, Jexxa, that the sellers get exhausted. There's basically no more HEX to be sold. People would rather hang on to it at a certain point. And
what about the guy?
We could be approaching that.
What about the guy with the 80 million who was selling off that big ass dumper? What's happened to him?
Did he finish up all of his? I'm not sure, but I thought he was almost finished with all of them.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't been tracking him.
I think I've seen a tweet. Someone said there was a small amount left in that particular wallet, and it was a very insignificant amount.
It was interesting as well, because back then, the time you're talking about, that we had the big payday approaching, and we knew that exact date. But now we have the Pulse launch approaching, and we don't know, but it feels like it's probably going to be in around 1 or 2 months. And we're kind of getting the same.
In all fairness, everyone's been saying 1 or 2 months for over 7, 8 months now.
Yeah, it's true.
So we've seen some screenshots of PulseX coming out again, though. That's looking pretty.
Yeah.
What are you laughing at, Sammy? You're having your own private joke there with JFK.
It's like 1 or 2 months, and I'm thinking, has he got insider knowledge? But then I realise, that's always going to be too much.
Just kicking the can down the road. That's what we're doing at this point.
It does feel like it's got to be at least one. It's got to be not more than 1 or 2. I mean, who the hell knows?
So when you think about it logically, like to be able to test the fixer bot and to get our balances on, not so much our balances, but for the fixer bot, you really need PulseX. You can't do that testing without that being there. So really, that was always going to be pivotal to having that in place. You can't go suck all the liquidity out of Uniswap and not have somewhere to put it and test putting it there. So yeah, I reckon that's the critical part. Once we've got that done, I think we'll see it move.
Didn't Richard say he's got to read the code? He doesn't really like reading it, but he's got to read all the code for that kind of thing in his last stream, one of his last streams.
Didn't catch that, Sammy. Could have done.
Yeah,
So we're seeing that get closer and closer. So hopefully,
I mean, look, we're going to have that testnet version 3, and then I think once that's been running for a while, you have to think that testnet version 3 will last at least 4 weeks minimum, like absolute minimum. be hard for it not to last that long.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
we're just pulling this out of our asses.
yeah, we are. But by the time we see testnet v3, how long do you think the devs have been playing with it in their private network?
Yeah, hopefully it's it's a week, and then bang, get it out. I mean, I feel that Richard is like eager to get it out, eager to go to market, super eager.
Yep,
like it's a perfect time to. Crypto in a bear.
Everyone wants it, man. Everyone wants to get on there and start using it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of like, you know, have you guys heard like the stuff that's going on with crypto and Russia, and how you know, even China have said that, like, I think I heard this. Where did I hear this on the radio today? That China is not going to be using the SWIFT network.
Well, what they've done is they've threatened to kick them off SWIFT, but they can't really do that because they've got to pay for the stuff that Russia gives them. But and it's going to just shoot, you know, the West in the foot if they kick them off SWIFT. They'll just come up with their own payment system. But what's more radical, which is happening this last week, is that they have sanctioned the Russian central bank, which they have done for small periods of time to Iran and Venezuela, but doing it to Russia is like on a whole new level. And
so when you say they've sanctioned it, that was locking accounts and things.
It means that Western banks could not interact with the Russian central bank. They're sanctioning the Russian central bank.
Yep.
I mean, it's their last roll of the dice. That's it. This is the last thing they can do. It's the big kind of gun. The problem is, once it doesn't work, then left of anything to do, really.
Well, I heard Adam Stokes talking about this. Adam Stokes was saying exactly this. It's like you can, like, he likened it to a parent like punishing a naughty child. It's you can only use like punishment so much before the child no longer reacts to it. It's like, okay, all right, well, I have to sit here. I'm in timeout. Okay, we'll just do the time and then move on. Hey, I've got Cabana Crypto in the chat complaining that we don't have tits because tits were advertised.
That comes later.
Yeah, in a couple.
You got to
of
hang around. That's our teaser. We do that right at the end, so you hang around.
Just so you know, Cabana, that they are going to be bitch tits. So you might be disappointed, bro. You might be disappointed. Possibly hairy. Anyway, before we go any further, let me do my. There we go.
What are you drinking, 43?
I am drinking natural mineral water with a hint of blood orange and mango.
Hey,
43
nice.
OG goes.
Put some of these comments up, Day 43. There's some funny comments flying by.
What's that?
Is the god whale.
They're taking his Taekwondo belt from him.
Judo.
That's what he's got, is it? Judo belt. Putin.
Hey, back.
He's a judo black belt. He's like a legit judo black belt.
Yeah.
He's probably the like legit the toughest world leader.
Yeah,
like
he was in the KGB.
He could fuck up everyone.
He was in the KGB, like head of the KGB.
Yeah, but he was a lawyer. He was a backroom lawyer in the KGB. That's so blown out of proportion. He was a pencil put. He was a paper pusher.
Pencil pusher.
Anyway, pencil pusher.
I reckon ScoMo could take him.
Yeah.
I reckon I could take him.
I don't think so. What, Putin? Putin would throw people on their fucking heads, man. They would be like, I'm going to take this little guy, and he would flip people onto their fucking heads, man. They would land on their head.
Put buck butts going up.
Exactly.
No respect, you lot. No respect.
So what's going to happen here? Like if we play this little game out, so all of a sudden things are going to become more expensive in the West. Fuel prices are going to go up. That's going to lead to everything else going up because you have to move all that stuff around. And inflation's coming, guys. Inflation's coming to Europe.
It's
inflation.
Here, man.
I mean, it's already here. It's already here, but it's going to get even worse.
Okay, so
inflation will also come to Russia,
yep.
but they are self-sufficient, and so they will get over it.
They've also got fuel, like energy gas deals with China.
30-year deal. They've just signed a 30-year deal. They're building They're building two new gas pipelines to China. They've already got one.
And they've also got a big deal, I believe, with Germany.
No, they don't. That's the whole thing. That's what it was. That's what this whole thing has been about. It's been Nord Stream 2. They've built it. The Germans pleaded with Russia to build this pipeline. They finally got them to build it. They've built it. America came in, and that's what a lot of this stuff is about, is that they don't want energy to go to Germany. And so Germany, which has just these kind of, I mean, like all of our Western governments,
who doesn't want energy to go to Germany?
America, because they want to sell natural gas, liquefied natural gas, to Europe. And they don't want...
It's never what it seems, is it? There's always this other brinkmanship going on in the background and other motives.
It makes sense that it does make sense that it's about resources. It does make sense.
And China, look, America have pushed Russia towards China. China has always wanted to cuddle up to Russia because they know that Russia has tons of resources, tons of energy, tons of food. China makes everything. Them together is that's game, set, and match in terms of the strongest economic powers in the world. And they complement each other. So, I mean, we are led by absolute idiots in the West, super dumb, just clueless people.
I mean, look, when you look at someone like Joe Biden, who struggles to
that mastermind,
seems to me like he struggles to really struggles just in general.
Yeah.
And you think that guy is the leader of the free world, yeah. It makes you worry just for, and then you think, well, maybe Trump was better than that guy, and then
Trump wanted to make friends with Putin. This wouldn't have happened if Trump would have been in there, and if the media wouldn't have been, so.
Well, he did have a better relationship with North Korea.
He'd make a deal. He's
China,
a deal maker. He wanted to make
Russia.
Yeah. But instead they've, got this, whatever they've got.
He'd come out and say some funny things as well. He would go at him and just make really like comments that are really antagonistic as well. It was quite comical.
Isn't it interesting that it's interesting with American politics, and I'm not sure if this is just all politics in general, but every president, as they've passed and the next one comes along, the one before, at the time when they were in power, they just seemed like fucking idiots, they couldn't do anything right. And then when they pass,
the next one comes in.
The next one comes along. They look like they were geniuses or something. And the guy who's in power just looks like an absolute fuckwit.
That's so true. It's really relative, isn't it? Hey, the bar I think that's continually set lower.
There was a period
that's
of
the
time
world round, though, isn't it?
The what?
Say that again.
That's the world round, though, isn't it? We have that same issue in Australia.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, yeah.
Just because there was a period of time when George Bush, after, I don't know when it was, but there was a period of time even George Bush was looking like, an absolute, he knew exactly what was going on. Because I remember at the time when he was in power, he just copped so much crap. There were videos of him just bumbling through, all of his speeches. And I had a mate who had a poster. Still makes me laugh. It was a poster with all the retarded shit he had said, and it was on in the toilet. So if you went in to take a dump, you just sit there and just read all this shit on the wall from from George W. Bush. It was hilarious. And look, they're all as good as each other. I'm not one-sided. When it comes to politics, I think they're all fucked up, man. I don't think any of them are any good.
No,
Anyway,
they're all liars.
So
Yeah,
on that inflation thing, so just locally where I am, I've seen cost to build a house up 25 to 30%, and that's probably gone up more since I last done one.
Thanks, Elliot.
They just keep ratcheting up the prices really quick. Houses, if you want to sell a house, gone up 30%. We've just seen fuel gone up. Oh, God knows how much that's rocketed up as well. That is real inflation. Like if something has got, if housing and the building, like the cost of building it has gone up 30%, that means all the materials, everything has all just gone up. And I would hazard a guess that there's not a single person where I live that's received a 30% pay rise. So that doesn't end well.
Well, the tax man doesn't he? He gets a 30% pay rise.
So what effect,
even more if you go into a different bracket.
So what effect does this have on crypto? Apart from governments doing things like, like supposedly like what Canada did, like we're going to confiscate all your crypto, blah blah blah. We're going to confiscate all, if you give money to the wrong cause, we're going to freeze your bank accounts. Like,
so fundamentally, that's a good thing for crypto. You
would think that people could actually take the time to learn how to use it properly. Although still, I see out there in the public, no, they can take it all. No, the NSA knows how to. They got backdoors to everything. They can just take it all, and it's just a misunderstanding of the technology, and like if you hold your private keys, like. Maybe if the NSA sent a team of people who were spying on you 24/7 for a long time, but they haven't got the resources to do that to every single person. So, like, if you take it off exchanges, hold your own private keys, you can control your own crypto. The government can't confiscate it. That's positive crypto. But what happens when there's massive inflation? Like,
well, if you're pricing in that asset that's getting inflated, then you should. But the asset should go up in price relative to it. So crypto should go up in price relative to the dollar. Really?
I mean,
yep, I concur.
That's what we've seen over the past year and a half, really, with the US dollar. All assets.
Yeah, but that's because I mean, is a government's going to have to start handing it out more? Is that what they're going to do? And so then it's going to like money. Like they're going to have to print more money and just keep handing it out more.
They're going to kick the can down the road.
Yeah,
they're going to do whatever is at their disposal to do. They're going to do it.
Yeah. And that's the only thing at their disposal to print more money, pretty much.
Yeah, yeah. And the consequence of that is the inflation. Inflation, like things going up. So it's this
in
thing
terms
that
of store of value, it's crypto.
Yeah, I would say so.
Unfortunately, that seems like they have to keep doing it for a bit longer. Yeah, because the only thing you can do is put the brakes on it now by increasing interest rates, and
then they'll lose the next.
I think a lot of people would be in a lot of trouble if interest rates went up now. If everything like housing and everything has just gone up massively, so you've got loans and things like that, but your wages haven't kept pace with it, and then they ratchet up interest rates.
Interestingly, that's what Russia just
sends
did.
People to the wall.
They just chucked up the interest rates to like 20%. So if you're in Russia, you want to put your money in the bank, you can get 20%. That's their way of shoring it up.
You just can't get it out when you need it.
No, you can. They're a very modern economy.
Now.
They'll be able to get it out. It's only when they're exchanging it. It's only when they're exchanging it for other foreign currencies. That's when it'll be devalued. But in terms of the internal, like yes, they'll have some inflation, absolutely. But within a year, they'll have dealt with it. And look, whether you like it or not, they're smarter than the Western leaders. They just fucking are. They're just more clued. I mean, the way I see it, like I don't agree with everything the Russian government are doing, but like I think there's tons of things you can be critical of them, like all their vax crap, and they're doing the same things as the West in all of that sort of sense. But in terms of like leaders who actually talk truth, like talk less lies to their people. Like go read Putin's speech. You know what I mean?
Killing people ain't good either, man. Killing people.
But they've had
Innocent
it's been a very, what are you talking about? That's been a very, I mean, you mean Ukraine, going into Ukraine? That's been hardly anyone's died. That's been an incredibly soft.
Yeah. So people have died, hey? People have died, yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I don't ever condone war.
That shit. Yeah. So that shit.
By the same token,
that ain't good.
Yeah, but they were forced into it. Come on, it's our Western leaders who want to have Ukraine get into NATO so they can put missile bases in fucking Ukraine on the edge of Russia's borders, and like, you know, they were promised that NATO would never go past Berlin or whatever. Like they just encroach. They've drawn a red line and said you can't have like NATO on the edge of our borders. And like, you know, fair enough. All we had to do was Western governments just had to guarantee that they wouldn't do that. You know what I mean? Like Western governments have raped Ukraine. They've just used it as their own kind of like cash cow. Or they pour money into it and then give it to all of their children, like Hunter Biden and Nancy Pelosi's son and fucking all of those kids who have these, you know, positions on gas boards and all that kind of stuff. It's just a massive slush fund for Europe and America. And they are the ones who are responsible for what's happening in Ukraine. Like, sorry, but like it's not as
it's not cut and dry. I agree with you. War never is. It's never like black and white. There's a lot of grey. I guess the thing that you say is that when it crosses the line of like you start killing people, and then you start saying, well, the justification is because they took the resources or whatever.
But they didn't go in to kill people. They went in to do things like blow up the biological fucking factories that were manufacturing, you know, biological weapons and shit like that. You know what I mean? They're going into they were going in to just take out the Ukrainian army. Like, and they have pretty much like done that. And they've always said they wanted the Minsk agreement for years. Like, it's not as if they've been pushed and pushed and pushed. You know, that's like, yeah. I'm getting a bit political, aren't we?
Did you see the image of
the
tank
that's maybe
the street? And it's
the
car and it speeds up and it just drives over the car. Did you see that?
A tank driving over a car?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just squashed it.
What's the
context?
context?
Sped up and just. So it was just on TikTok. So it was in Russia.
What's the context of it?
So the tank saw the civilian in a car and sped up.
Oh, jeez.
Rolled over it, or just squashed it. It's pretty bad.
It's pretty brutal. Yeah,
there's also a lot of fucking, you know, propaganda out, and we're probably seeing an absolute ton of it. So just be careful with what you're watching as well.
Yeah. By the way, Bluey, I haven't watched any of it. Like, I haven't seen any of it. All I know is I hear that there's conflict, and I know that people have died. That's what I know.
Yeah. Bluey's obviously a lot more informed than most, which is awesome. What I've found really hard of late is it's so hard to get the truth out of anything you see these days. You see something on Twitter and that turns out to be fake, or someone's doctored it up, and you see things on the mainstream media where they've doctored things up as well. So it's so hard to pick the truth out of all the bullshit these days. It's almost getting impossible.
Yeah, you got to work at it. Absolutely. Yeah.
And what's made it harder is the technology to create deep fake and things like that. You never know what you're looking at. So really hard.
That's true as well. That's true. Yeah. And did you see Elon? I saw a picture of Elon Musk. He's like sent Starlink stuff to Ukraine or something. Is that
I
is that
saw
right?
that. Yeah.
So they're not going to.
But Russia aren't blocking information coming out of Ukraine. They want the information to flow. They want people to know what's happening. They don't want to scare the population. They haven't done the big blockade, blocking the internet or anything like that, which is obviously what they could be doing. There's been no massive internet attacks or attacks on infrastructure or anything like that.
Anyway, let's maybe get off
in
that
another
stuff.
world.
Yeah. And maybe get back onto the crypto side of things. So two things, like I said at the start, two things are happening. I guess here we've got two people. We've got who are in their respective communities, important people. We've got Jexxa, who's in liquid loans, and we've got Bloobum, who is, I guess you're not really, you're an admin in their chat, but you're not like, you're just like very pro Hedron, let's just say.
I'm just a volunteer, just exactly the same as I am with HEX. I'm just a volunteer in the Hedron chats, and I was made a mod.
You're on the team though, aren't you? And so just so that everyone knows when you're listening to whoever's talking about what, we know what's what. Transparency is important. So tell us, Jexxa, do you want to give us a little bit of a rundown, the sacrifice phase in the last few days?
Yeah, so I guess there's been a volley of activity on Twitter and in all the Telegram groups and everything, because there is a lot going on with not just liquid loans. You had Hedron doing their thing, liquid loans, you got Mintra. There's a raft of different things that are happening in the community. So it's been pretty vibrant. What has happened for liquid loans, and this is absolutely awesome. We've had, I think it's, let me just check the numbers. It was 7,000, where are we? So just under 7,500 wallets have participated in the sacrifice, and that doesn't include a lot of the wallets that we know have got pools of people coming together. So you could probably easily add maybe another 1,000 wallets on that balance. So what that means is we've got roughly 8,500 people that have shown their support and their and the fact that they want to see this stablecoin and this protocol emerge on the Pulse chain. So it's really good to have that support from everyone. That's going to drive the team on to just work harder and make sure this is just best thing ever for the chain. So yeah, thank you to everyone that has participated. It's really great to see that level of support come out in the community.
Great. Bluey, do you want to give us a quick synopsis of what's going on, what's happened with Hedron in the last few days? It did launch, the launch phase started, how long ago? Was it 3 or 4 days ago?
Well, for us, Saturday morning. Yeah, 10 a.m. Saturday.
Give us a rundown. What's happened?
Well, it's launched, it's live, and it's working, and everything's working absolutely great. I've got a couple of little stats here that Nomad, I think it was Nomad. Oh, no, I've lost my place. Where was I? Here we go. No, I've lost my place. It's gone up. And let me just scroll back a bit. Yeah, okay, so 50,000 of the 300,000 total stakes have claimed the bonus or minted their tokens.
Sorry, 50,000 of the how many? 300?
50,000 of the 300 total stakes in the HEX
pretty good
system. That's incredible.
That's pretty good.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Say that again. Sorry.
50,000 of the 300 total stakes have claimed the bonus or minted their tokens.
Of the 300,000 total stakes?
Yes.
Wow. That's a lot.
That's epic. That is 16.6% of stakes.
Got to say, it's been
early on.
It's been a very smooth launch as well, hasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Apart from Infura, crashing just around the time of launch, and so well, it was ironic because Infura was crashing, so all of ETH was not working, but then all of a sudden, because Infura was crashing, people were being able to get their transactions through, and so it just drove the gas. Not many people were using Ethereum, and so it drove the gas prices down. So I think that's partly the reason why there's been such a big pickup, because we've had cheap gas prices, and it's been costing like I was getting claims done for like $5-6 US. Sometimes they're like 7, 8, up to 10 maybe, or even 12. But it's been cheap. And
I gotta say, I did try one today. I think gas had gone up. It spiked up to about 80 or 90, and was getting expensive.
It's gone back down
dollars.
Again, though.
Yeah, so the Gwei went up to like 80 or 90. Must have been just that point in time when I was doing it, and I tried to mint one. I went, ooh, might wait a little bit, because it was dirt cheap the other day, and I think everyone was just making the most of it.
Yeah. Hang on, I'll just check the price right now.
Well, I think I paid about $10-11 for most of mine.
Mm-hmm.
So it's 43 right now. And you know what? After dealing with, if it goes below 100, you're happy. It's pretty good. Hey, we've had some really high gas prices. So I think that's probably maybe partially, but also the word's getting out and people are rushing in. And you know what's so ironic about Maddie's rant? Because he was so off whatever.
Hang on. Just before, can we take a step back? What are you talking about? Because there'll be people in the chat who don't know, and we're not going to beat.
Well, Maddie's been.
We're not going to beat this up, by the way. We're just going to comment on it like someone's asked in the chat.
Yeah, so Maddie made a video, and in it he made some just outrageously ridiculous statements that are obviously completely not true, that turned into actual HEX FUD. And I've been hearing from the people in the HEX, the mods in the HEX and Pulse saying, hang on, is this true? Can the OA emergency end stake people's stakes if they're connected with blah, blah, blah? It's just all crap. It's all rubbish and FUD. So Maddie really kind of like, he stepped over the line when he started like he was literally fudding HEX. And he was making statements that were very obviously completely untrue and impossible. And so, but the irony is that, I mean, it's exactly the same with all of the HEX early, like it's a scam crap. It draws attention. And so Hexagons came in droves to the Hedron chat, and loads of people have been coming in to find out about it. And I've been in there a lot, and so has, Nomad Shanty's been amazing, and everyone. There's a whole list of people who I'm not going to remember. Alex, obviously, who's been working his tits off. And so loads of people have been coming in and finding out about it finally. And we're getting a bit more articulate of how to describe it and all the ins and outs of it.
Can I just in Maddie's defense, I don't want to copy any shit for this, but I think he generally doesn't like the idea of tradable stakes.
Oh,
like,
whatever, dude. What the fuck ever, man. Yeah. Who gives a shit? Like, okay, you don't like them. You've got no reason to. No, I'm sorry, but he doesn't get away with that kind of crap.
Bluey, take it down a notch, mate. Take it down a notch, okay? I'm just stating he's not here, so let me at least state his point of view.
You know how many times I've offered to explain it to him, either in on his show or in
I think
private,
he understands.
And he doesn't even get back to me. He ghosts me.
No. Listen, I think he understands what tradable stakes are, and I think he understands that part of it. But I'm going to try and take what his angle, which is the reason he loves HEX is because it can help people who are in a bad, psychological way see something in the future that they can lock in, and it gives them something to work towards and live for. And I from his perspective, that's that's what I see as his angle of why HEX is so good. So I give him that. That's a fair thing to thing to believe in, but having said that, not everyone requires that. Not everyone is going to need, some of us can just hold onto things, can diamond hand things. And I guess that the other thing is that when he did that rant, I think I don't know, he seemed tired to me. He seemed a little bit like he's maybe a little bit stressed out. So look, we can all have bad days, man. We can all have bad days. There's not a week, Bloobum, that you don't tell someone to shut up on this stream. So we all have bad moments, right?
Yeah, but it draws. I draw the line of misinformation. Sorry, but
that's fair
misinformation.
Enough. That's a fair comment. Yeah.
Okay, so it's been a weird and wacky couple of weeks in the HEX community for sure. I think anyone that hasn't watched RG's rant from the Friday Hangout should probably go check in there and realize why we're all here and that everyone should be working together as a community to drive this forward. And we've been very fractured as a community the last couple of weeks. So it's time to get our shit together and get back on track and start building this as a community together. We're all going to have disagreements and going to get rolled up over things we strongly believe in.
This would be so simply solved.
And it's a DeFi protocol.
Hang on. Let me talk for a
second.
Yo.
Or don't.
How are you, Tangent?
How are you?
Yeah,
Hey,
I'm
Tangent.
good. I don't want to interrupt. You guys finish what you're saying. I've got some comments.
This would
after.
be so simply solved if Maddie just got on somebody who knew what it was and had a calm discussion about the ins and outs of it
Yeah.
all. And if he disagreed with certain things, then great, let's hear your points and let's hear the counterpoints. And like this all could have been completely avoided just through like an easy conversation. But he's like pushing out misinformation, and that's where it's gotten ridiculous. And I think that listen, there's a way back for Maddie. Maddie's got a fantastic hero's journey right here. He could if he had humility, he could have a discussion with somebody who actually knows what Hedron is all about. He could come to an understanding about it. He could potentially even apologize. And if he did, people would love him. If he said, listen, I was wrong, I don't know what was happening, and blah, 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 this and that, people would love him even more if he was actually contrite and had humility. But at the moment, he's, well, I've got no idea. I don't talk to Maddie at all. You know what I mean? And maybe I'm a bit triggered because like he's never even answered me. Like he's hardly ever even answered me when I've like sent him a message or anything like that. So like
I think triggered is the right word. I think there's a lot of people that are getting triggered in the community at the moment. So,
yeah, but it's also like, let's get it out. You know what I mean? Like we don't have to try to put up facades of like calmness. It's
I'm not saying. I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying that at all.
Mm.
But do it in respectful ways. I think you don't have to, because it does look bad from outside. Like if you come into the Hex community and you just see all this shit flying around, it's not a great look. There's better ways
Bluey.
to.
Anyway,
not everything has to be publicly aired.
Louis, we spoke about. Remember that stream we did? It was like a year ago.
Wait.
right?
Before you move on, can I just throw in just a couple of very quick comments? So, because obviously I was backstage. I just caught day 43. That was an excellent, putting yourself in someone else's position, trying to like steelman his argument. Well done. But I was going to say, my comment is this is not aimed at anyone. You don't get to choose how people use a tool. So like, unfortunately, that's the way that these things work. Like that, if someone takes a tool, if someone takes a hammer and smashes someone's head in it, the guy who designed the hammer can't say, no, you're not allowed to do that. Like, well, I mean, he can, but it doesn't, you know what I mean? Like, as in the use for that tool gets decided by the user, not by the creator. So, or by the community of hammer enthusiasts or whatever. So unfortunately, that's just something that we need to accept, is that if something starts getting misused in your opinion, then you kind of have to just be chill with that and accept it. The other thing that blew my mind was people were like, oh shit, if you're going to, like, because I was staying completely out of it, but people were like, oh, if you're going to only watch one video about all the drama, this is it. You need to go into this timestamp. I went in and I was like, we speak to each other worse than that on weeks where we are being totally friendly with no beef at all. I was like, wait, what? Like, so I was sitting through like multiple tens of minutes,
So
like
true,
hours,
man.
waiting for the big drop where people were going to lose their shit. And it was like so polite. People are, I'm sorry, did I talk over the top of you? I want to give you space to put your argument forward. Yeah, go ahead, man. Like, what? Whereas we've got Bloobum's just like, you shut up. Yeah, and that was, and the only other thing which is quite urgent is, if you haven't already said, Liquid Loans is about to click over for the thing where it's going to stop being the flat rate at the start, like less than an hour.
39 minutes, yep.
And other than that, you guys take the floor. Sorry, that was quite a lot.
I just want to agree with what you're saying. Like, I was going to say that just before you said what you said, which is Hex is it's a DeFi protocol where there's, we've heard Richard Hart talk about how, he would like people to build on top of it. Now, unfortunately, in the beginning of Hex, we had some shitty things that were built on top. They were like games. They were like sort of scammy type things. And, that sort of left a sour taste in everyone's mouth. But what you've got here is you've got, a very capable developer by the name of Alex, who has taken his time. I mean, he's been coding Hedron for a while.
Yeah.
You know, and he's really just he's a hexagon from like way back, which doesn't mean automatically you get a pass because you're a hexagon, but he has put in the work. He got the audit. He did all the things he's supposed to do, and also probably the biggest point that's not being mentioned, right? Tell me which other thing has rewarded hex stakers as a group. Hey, what other thing? I can't think of anything that just hex stakers. So that's going to be clap. I want more shit like that. Hey, why don't more people do that?
We've incidentally got in things like airdrops from uni and all that, but that was just circumstance. But this is
that's not just for hex stakers. This is just for hex stakers.
Can I just say something? So this it's not even 4 days. This has been an incredibly 50,000 out of 300,000 stakes have either claimed or minted, and the vast majority of those, OG43 has been claiming.
Oh, really?
I thought you meant the vast majority had been day 43.
Hang on, can you just drill down? Can you just drill down a little bit? Can you drill down a little bit, Blue, and explain to me what you mean by
I
that?
can explain that, because when I first got into the Hedron chats, there was no claiming function, and then I invited.
Don't let him fish for more compliments. He's got enough out of this
I
already.
invited day 43 into the chats, and one of the suggestions that he came up with for Alex was this claim feature, which has proven to be the most popular function by far at the moment. And so, well done, day 43. Like, seriously, well done, right?
Thank you.
Right?
That's thoughtful.
I think it added some game theory that
that's
even
my point. Hang on,
43 didn't understand.
Hang on. That's my point, right? What has happened to the Hedron price since launch? It has pretty much gone sideways. Yeah, there's been 100% up and 100% down and whatever. It's been like that, but it's pretty much been sideways. There hasn't been a massive dump as we've seen. And people are claiming because they are hexagons, because this is a token that has been distributed to a very specific set of people. And it's hexagon stakers that get it. And those people, compared to the rest of the population, understand the value of holding. And that's why so many of them have claimed. And so this is a very interesting token distribution. Like, you would have never seen in cryptocurrency a token distribution model like this. And so, especially when you consider that Bitcoin holders, after a year of everyone screaming, get your free hex, what was it, about 2% ended up claiming?
Yeah. Yep.
We've seen 16.6% in the first 4 days. And that makes me incredibly.
But remember, those communities there was potentially sort of like conflicting attitudes between those two projects, whereas these two are aligned, right? It's like ProHex and ProHex, whereas the other one was a lot of Bitcoiners are very not.
They were getting it for free. They could have just got it for free. Like, not even the cost of a gas cost.
Yeah, I think some of them may have thought that by claiming it, even though they were claiming it for free, they were effectively still putting the weight of their vote
showing
behind
support
it, basically effectively demonstrating support for the project.
Yeah, but they could have claimed it for free.
No, Tender's right. Because it would have signaled that. It would have signaled that they thought it was something worth looking at.
Yeah, and
they
were so convinced that it was a scam, and they were so convinced that it was going to zero.
And how wrong were they?
Why even spend the time to claim something? If I'm just saying what they would have thought at the time.
Look, my point is,
it's not even worth me clicking buttons to claim this thing.
Who knows what their motivations were? Maybe a lot of them didn't even know about it.
And
maybe
an awareness.
I mean, there's a million motivations, and we don't know people's mass thinking at all. But in the end, it's like about how effective was that outreach. And that wasn't very effective. In fact, if they would have claimed earlier, if they would have been smarter and claimed earlier, the OA wouldn't have gotten as much HEX, because there was that built-in incentive that if they claimed early, they would get that HEX that the OA didn't get. Right? So anyway, like, I think this has been an incredibly successful launch, and I think that's because Hexagons are smart people on the whole. And once they looked into it and they discovered the potential of it, and there's a ton of potential in this, and it might take years to play out. Like, I'm not saying this is a 10,000x in 2 years coin. This is like a long-term play.
Bluey,
you know what
can I ask you a quick one?
Mm-hmm.
I started watching a video by David Feeder that started off with, okay, I'm going to do a tutorial on how to claim your Hedron if it's like through Staker app or whatever. And he's like, first up, you're going to need to get your seed words and put them into MetaMask. And I was like, say what now? Like
you can do that with a hardware wallet. You can, instead of putting them into MetaMask, you just put into your hardware wallet and connect that to MetaMask. Same.
Oh,
exactly
okay. All right.
It is a pretty advanced thing to be doing. So if you're not doing that sort of stuff, just
look, I've been through it.
Hang on, if you're connecting to Gnosis Safe, you can put your seed phrase into a hardware wallet. Like, if you're going to do that part of it, you can do the first part of it. Like, seriously.
You know what? It's a really good thing to go through, by the way. Like, I went through it because I wanted to make that tutorial, and I made one, and then I was worried it was going to be dox my address, and so I was trying to get someone to motion graphics out my fucking thing, and it was taking really, really long. And then David came along, and I thought that it was a fantastic tutorial, and I highly recommend
he's awesome.
that if anybody has got Staker app, Hex Stakes, and they want to like work out, have the PDF next to you, read through it so you understand it basically, and then watch that video, and you can pause it, and it is a really good process to go through, because you learn how to use Gnosis Wallet, and Gnosis Wallet is like really interesting. And if you ever do want to do something like take your whole wallet and send it to another address, day 43, if you just want to confirm this, is that possible with Gnosis?
Say that again.
If you want to take your whole wallet, your Gnosis wallet, and move it to another address, is that possible?
No. Your Gnosis safe is gonna, like, the address is gonna stay the same, but the owner of that address can change. So the seed phrase that you have is the owner has the private keys to the address that owns that is in control of it, right?
Right.
But you can transfer that. So you can transfer.
Would there be any advantage security wise ever to do that?
Well, you can have multi-sig. I mean, that's the beauty of it. Really,
by default, they set up one sig, but you could put more on. Yeah,
you can have multi-sig. I don't know if it's going to work on the Staker app.
If you change that now, though, if you went and changed the owner, it would break your Staker wallet, I would imagine. Could be.
You might not be able to sign. You may not be able to sign things, but if you have the multi-sig on there,
right. Anyway, it's like it was a good tutorial just to go through. It's good experience. Can
I make a comment just in relation to Hedron and like the future of this is the way I see Hedron, right? I see it as an opportunity to onboard NFT enthusiasts. That's what I see it as. Because at the end of the day, if all you're doing is marketing to a subset of Hex users, that's not awesome, right? What we want is we want to draw people in from outside into Hex, and we want to get them into financial NFTs rather than JPEG NFTs, right? That's in my mind, that's where the real power could be in Hedron.
I think
so that's going to take some education, though. That's going to take some education, because everyone will just see all these Hedron stakes here, and they go, "Oh, what's so special about that JPEG?" There's nothing unique, and it's just that have
enough people get wrecked when when enough people get wrecked with their NFTs, but then they see these like Hex stake NFTs could hold their value a lot better, according to the price of the token, of course, but they're gonna be like based on, there'll be a mathematical formula that you can work out. Like, okay, well, if I emergency end stake now, what would be left over? Maybe that's the price of the NFT. What would be left over if it was emergency end staked right now? Maybe that's what's agreed upon. Maybe it's something else. I don't know. The market will decide. But when people see that, there's actually something behind the NFT that is a store of value, and it clicks,
So I'm assuming that Alex is working on something that is a marketplace, or gives you some way of valuing these, Bluey. Would that be?
Well, there's a few people, and so first of all, okay, what's the minimum value of one of these NFTs? The cost to get that many T shares, plus how much Hedron that it's going to mint at that time. I guess that would be like that would be around the price, let's say, of what you want to sell it for. Whether you want to sell it for a little bit more than that or a little bit less than that. What's really going to happen is it's going to take like years 5 to 10 or 10 to 15 when these things are really going to be worth a lot, because at that stage it'll be very, very difficult to get that amount, to get those T shares, because the T shares are always ratcheting up, and the cost of as shares are deflationary, and as the cost of HEX goes up. But what I think the real value of this is that it adds values to stakes, and as it adds values to stakes, and it becomes kind of like a liquidity sink, so that you can but you can get value out of having a stake. That money is going to pour back into HEX, and that's going to go what drives it up. Like, for instance, if you have a HEX NFT that you manage to sell, what are you going to do with that money? Sure, there's going to be someone going to buy a house or a Lambo or whatever, but some of that money is going to go reinvest into HEX. The other thing is that there's all sorts of very interesting leverage plays. For instance, if you have two HSI stakes and that you claimed during, or that you made during this 10x phase, at the point when Hedron is priced relatively high compared to HEX, you could borrow on that Hedron stake, sell that for HEX, make a new stake, borrow on that, sell that Hedron for HEX, and you could do that a number of times, always being able to pay back those loans with that HSI, because you're printing at a 10x bonus and you can only borrow at the base rate. So there's going to be all sorts of very interesting. I mean, I could go on for a while about all of the extra game that this adds. And because it adds game.
Are you sure, Bluey, that you could go on for a while?
No need for that. Oh, yeah, I've got a quick question.
You, man. Seriously? I could barely get into fucking word in edgewise, but you fucking like going on and on and on. And now you're fucking giving me shit for talking about something which has actual value.
I'm joking, man.
You get a word in edgewise. Are you saying me or 43?
No, Bluey reckons he's getting shortchanged on the airtime.
On the airtime. Oh, we'll need to get a stopwatch out and go back through previous streams. So, quick question: when you buy a wrapped stake, do you literally have full control over that thing? Can I unwrap it and like emergency end stake, just nuke it? Like, is it literally? Can you can unwrap it and then it's just like a regular one? You can do everything you would normally be able to do. Get the actual HEX.
Everything and more. You could also re-tokenize it and send it somewhere else. You could actually you could borrow on it. You could mint
so
the Hedron from it.
It doesn't create it into something else that's like then no longer able to be able to extract shit out. It's just literally you can literally get it back to a regular state. That's sick.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
cool.
It gives me more options. And also just in terms of outreach, I was asked onto a crypto debate show where I was with DZ.
Yeah, how did that go, mate?
It went great. I had a really great time, and DZ was really nice. I quite liked it.
Multi-currency. Was it a multi-coin debate?
No, it was on NFTs.
NFTs,
yeah.
So okay,
Where's the debate?
It was outside of the HEX Pulse kind of
exactly.
ecosystem. Oh, sick. Nice.
That's my point. Like, we can get out there and we can,
yeah. Send me a link in the chat, man. I'd be keen to see.
Can we shill it? Put it in the chat, mate.
I want to watch it after this.
Yeah, I want to watch it too.
So I thought they were looking for someone to be the counter argument for why NFTs were shit or something, weren't they, Bluey? And you obviously didn't go in there with
Yeah,
that.
look,
that
I was
intent.
straight up. I just said, my view on NFTs is nuanced, and then they kind of like sort of got on the vibe on the video with me, and we had a bit of a chat, and they said, yeah, okay, you sound like that could be interesting, and you know, they wanted me to argue the case that, you know, that NFTs are all going to zero or something like that, and I just said, well, look, I'll put the video in, and you guys can check it out.
Yeah. Did they make a strong case for why?
On Twitter right now.
And actually, before I find that link, I ended up speaking to the guy whose show channel it was for a good 20 minutes, 30 minutes about HEX after the show, because he wanted to know more, and he was of that camp that maybe I think it's a scam. I'm going to stay away.
Yeah.
And after that show, he was like picking my brains for a good 20, 30 minutes kind of, and they want to have me back on as well.
Okay,
so like good. It's all.
So I've got to give you that, mate. You're really good at reaching out into different communities. You've done some interviews with guys that are totally not part of the community. So it's good that you go and you reach across to those sort of other communities out there.
Yeah, you did a stream last week as well with who was it?
Yeah, with Alex Christoforou.
Yeah.
There's got a geopolitics kind of channel. Yeah. And I would have done another one with him soon, but because of the whole Russia-Ukraine thing, they've just been going hard, like you know, kind of finding out what's going on there and doing lots of live streams and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. That's a great channel, by the way. Well, he is part of a channel called the Duran. I wasn't on the Duran. They have a lot bigger audience. I was on his private channel. Oh, I can't find it now. Oh, here it is. Cool. So I'll chuck it in our private chat. Yeah, I don't think I can put it in the YouTube chat.
Yeah, I'll copy it.
Yeah. So yeah, this is an opportunity for us to get on those NFT kind of channels. And hey, yeah, we love NFTs. Hey, have you thought of this? A financial NFT. Hey, maybe you could create images and put them together with a financial NFT. What kind of value would they have? Like is
there an actual marketplace for financial NFTs, like a dedicated?
Well, Uniswap V3 is sold on OpenSea, and it's been sold on OpenSea for a while. And so Uniswap V3 liquidity positions are financial NFTs. But apart from that, I don't know of any others.
So they're okay. So I guess they're just this. Is that right? Is the LP tokens? Are they? They're not a 720, are they?
They're an NFT. Yeah.
721.
Yeah.
Right. I didn't realize.
And what's crazy to me is that they sell for premiums on OpenSea. It's like, why wouldn't you just go in and create it yourself, whatever position you wanted?
There's probably. So can you actually go and search financial NFT? Because that's pretty much a category that would be worth.
Just look up Uniswap V3 in OpenSea.
No, but I'm saying have that as a category, because everyone's like define that as a category. I reckon that would be I don't even know if that exists as a category yet, but that would be a good narrative to get out there.
Yeah.
Financial. Did you say financial NFTs?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been talking about that for the last couple of weeks now.
Yeah, no, I know we have, but I don't know whether that's a known term out there or not, though. Whether that's something people go.
FinFT.
Right.
That's what it is. That's the term, hey? FinFT. Finift.
So it shows how much time I spend in the NFT space.
Man, so much of this Hedron stuff is going to pour back into HEX. It's going to be rocket fuel for HEX in the long term. Like, I think it's obvious from now.
I think there's a lot of things coming together to really vortex the HEX situation.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I mean,
okay, guys.
This is all building on top of the foundation of how much HEX was sacrificed and diamond-handed. Anything that goes back into the OA from penalties along the way is also diamond-handed. It's just it's the vortex. It's the HEX vortex. And then when you stack other game theoretical shit on top of that, madness. It's that I think there's a divergence at the moment between fundamental, and this is not just for Hex, it's all of crypto. I think the fundamentals at the moment are so much better than the prices. I think crypto could go absolutely nuts. And it's easy to say that on a day like today when shit has actually been going nuts. But, you know.
What's been happening today in crypto? I haven't even been really noticing.
Bro.
So we had a big pump on Bitcoin. Was that today or was that yesterday? It's a bit blurry now. Was that
definitely the last 24 hours? I mean, I sleep at all sorts of random times now, so the words yesterday and today are pretty much meaningless. but oh, you know, Jack Mollers is doing a thing where he sleeps for 4 hours 3 times a day. So he basically just like naps through the day.
Oh yeah.
For 4 hours at a time.
3 times.
He reckons there's some science behind it. Oh, sorry, maybe it's actually only twice. Yeah, you're right, probably only twice. That would otherwise would be too much sleep, wouldn't it? Well, you would be wasting a lot of time sleeping.
Well, that's just oversleep.
But I don't think he's doing on a schedule. It's just like whenever you feel tired, you take a 4-hour nap, and then you get up, and then you just work for as long as you want. And then I think Richard even said at one point that he used to do that when he first retired. He said, I would just do exactly what I want, and then when I would get tired, I would go to sleep. And when I would wake up, I would keep doing shit, and then I would get tired, go to sleep again. So, I mean, I guess he's kind of doing that, but just with a bit more structure, or maybe with an alarm. Are you guys laughing at these comments?
No, I'm thinking, you know, like there's no day and night for Richard. Like he just, you know, he doesn't have like a real day and a real night. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like when he's working, like when you got kids and you guys know about this, like routine is everything.
Yeah,
there's
if you've got commitments, yeah.
And there's a night, but I just can't imagine life not having a day and night now. It's just funny. It's so bachelor.
Yeah.
Like
kids, a job, any sort of commitment to any other business person, other entity, definitely would screw up your ability to be able to do that kind of thing. Hey, speaking of Richard, do you think he could be in the danger zone? Like, do you think he could be sort of? Do you know what I mean? Like, as in, he could be in a bordering country. Not to get into that topic, by the way, but like,
wasn't he?
We've already gone into that.
Oh, you guys already talked about that a bit.
Yeah, he wouldn't.
No, but wasn't he doing something with?
That,
wasn't he doing something with cars? Weren't they somewhere else?
That was
Spain,
Spain, I think.
Estonia.
Yeah.
They were in Estonia and then in Spain. But I think, Tangent, you're saying that he could live around.
I mean, in terms of where he
area.
lives, yeah. I'm talking about where he actually resides, not just where he happens to be now.
I don't think he's in Ukraine, if that's what you mean.
No,
I think he's there.
No, surely not.
No, but
instead of hearing those police sirens in the background of his videos, we start hearing like bombs going off and shit. Yeah, no, I don't think he's in Ukraine. Sorry, what were you saying, Sammy?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Like he could be in the trouble zone, like around that area. Obviously, if you're living in Europe or anywhere over there, I don't know. I think it's something to be worried about. But staying positive, people, that's what it's all about. And PulseChain's coming. You know, don't get upset. Don't get depressed.
When's it coming, Sammy?
2 months.
4 weeks. 4 weeks.
4 weeks.
4 more weeks.
In fact, that was something I was thinking, Jexxa, you know, with the LL sacrifice. I was thinking, how were you guys so sure that Pulse was not going to launch within that 30-day period? And I mean, it still could. Like, at
the time we weren't. So when we started planning, because when PulseX first happened, when Pulse
so what would happen?
First happen?
Okay.
Oh, we'll just adjust plans and keep going. Like you have to
as in,
work around it.
Would the sacrifice phase continue? So, if Pulse launched like in a week from now, what would LL do? Would they continue the sacrifice phase and not launch the project until?
Can't stop it, man. You can't stop it. It's got to.
So it would
run its course.
But then, would it delay the launch, or would the project exist concurrently while the SAC's still going, or you can't really do that?
No, because you got to get. If someone's going to do an airdrop, you'd have to figure out all the tokenomics.
Yeah. So effectively, regardless of when, if Pulse launches before the end of that sacrifice phase, it just means that at the start, PulseChain will exist without LL just until the sacrifice ends, and then it'll exist.
I don't think we're in any danger of that being an issue.
Oh, that makes me sad.
we haven't even seen V3 on the test net. We've got to see that.
But those things could be almost back to back, right? V3 and Pulse
potentially
could be like a 1-2 combo punch, you know?
Yeah.
Could well be. It's going to be interesting times. So it'll be one of those things. Everyone's
I
just
like
been
how
sitting
Motley
here
was
waiting.
messing with people's minds. He was like, what about if Pulse just launches with no warning, and then you might just miss out?
That's exactly what I was going to say. We've all been sitting here waiting, and then the day will come and they'll just go, oh, it's live now, and everyone go, whoa.
Oh, yeah, too
I mean,
late.
you would think that he'll give it some lead up time just because it's such a major marketing event.
But no. But I think the idea is if he wants to stop people from gaming, especially like on Hex price, sort of trying to buy it and then dump it, and then like you can kind of avoid a sell the news event. Like I've seen airdrops. I won't mention the coins, but just historically, there've been airdrops where it has just absolutely just wrecked everything. Like in terms,
but if he just does it by surprise, then then you'll just have a dump. I don't get it. Like, why wouldn't you want to have a buy event? Like where?
No. But as in, if you've limited the number of people who have bought in specifically just to get a copy and then dump, then there wouldn't be as much of a dump on the tail end, right?
Yeah, but that's exactly what we went through on Big Payday.
Yeah,
like there was a big FOMO event leading up to it, and everyone did. They all piled in, and there was
and they dumped,
hangover from that. But I think. Let me have a look at the chart. I think we would have ended up in a net,
I retract my comment.
Position.
I just realized I'm doing that thing that I advise people not to do, which is like trying to speculate as if an individual part. It's just way too complex to think like that.
Yeah,
it really is.
Just trust that Richard has thought about it and is going to do what's best for the project.
I would have thought it'd be like if it was imminent. And he said, right, you just need a week or 2 weeks for this massive amount of publicity to build up. Like, it would be such a big publicity event. If it just kind of happened and then bang, that's done.
Why are you saying he needs publicity? All the sacrificing has been done ages ago. Like, what?
Because he's a publicity whore.
Yeah. That's how you get free marketing.
That's how you get it's marketing.
But you can publicize the shit out of it after it's launched.
No, but you want to induce FOMO.
Yeah. What did Cardano talk about?
You don't publicize something. Hey, all these people just got double their coins.
Yeah. You want to bring people along for the ride, and you're right. You'll get some that will dump, and you'll get some that will stick around.
Yeah.
And it'll
be big publicity, and people will try to play the game, and that's the tension. And some people will love Richard, and some people will hate Richard, and he does that on purpose because it brings attention.
Yep. Controversy's good at like you were saying before, Bluey. A bit of controversy doesn't hurt.
That was my original point. I think that's that.
I think people have got a love-hate relationship with Richard. They eventually will love him and hate themselves if they're not on his team. You know.
Look, he forces people to make a decision about him.
That's a good point. Yeah. You can't be lukewarm on his shit, man. You are either like firmly on his team or
you hate his guts.
Yeah. Yes. It's like get on my team or get the fuck out of the way. Yep, nice.
And regardless of either way, you have to keep your eyes on him.
Wait. I've got a theory that I stand by that. I thank the haters because you need at least a few people that are still calling him a scammer and saying that he's going to dump and stuff like that to like massively incentivize him to not do it. If everyone in the world was on his team and there was no haters, then
it's to draw the attention though as well. It's like people go, what? Oh, these people hate him and these people love him. Well, let me make
build
a
that
decision.
Controversy.
I want to find out for myself.
You know? 100%.
What's all this fuss about? You know, that's what you want people to be thinking. You know, what's all this fuss about? This Richard Hart character. Let me look into it. Hey, speaking of Hexagon legends,
do you think he was wearing something that was like forcing him to have amazing posture during that video against Schiff? He was sitting up like a motherfucker.
Dude,
he was just
that
like,
jacket. It was that jacket,
Do you
bro.
think do you think that tailored jacket just had him absolutely reefed backwards? Like,
I thought he looked awesome, actually. I thought he was
yeah. Oh, yeah.
styling on that debate night. Fully styling, yeah.
I'm not throwing shade at the jacket.
I like
by the
how
way.
he was just laughing.
I would
his
love
ass
to
off
own
at
one of
some-
those jackets.
Some of the shit, like Peter Schiff or the host would say some shit, and he would just be like, trying not to laugh, just like.
He wasn't trying not to. He was laughing.
Just pissing himself.
It is funny though. Some of the shit that we're saying. It's funny how people. It's like when people go like, "Who do you think won the debate?" And I'm just like, "Fucking, isn't this obvious?" It's like, why do you even like think that someone presents well or this well? Listen to what they're saying. It's like
those guys.
Like, he smashes. I mean,
they have way more in common than they see.
And Richard was pointing it out. Richard was pointing out all the things they have in common.
Yeah,
but Schiff doesn't want to hear it.
It's only crypto that they don't have in common. Like their worldviews would be very, very much aligned in many respects.
Yeah, and there's solutions to things. Like, it's just that Schiff is like so close-minded.
I think it's the old guard and the new guard.
Is he though?
Like,
is he,
but
or does he play a character?
Yeah.
Does he play a character?
You have to
turn I think he's close-minded. I think he's just
like his gold company accepts crypto. It's like if you don't believe in something,
so it's
like
all
you don't.
Yeah.
Look,
for him it's marketing.
Yeah,
I think
marketing.
It's eyeballs.
You know what? Probably. Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah.
He's doing the exact same. He's doing exactly what Richard does, where it's controversy.
Yeah.
And he feeds off the crypto community like nothing.
Yeah, you're
else.
right. You're absolutely right. But really, who from the cryptocurrency is going and using his services? Like,
I don't know, mate. Not sure.
Like,
don't know.
Well, some people, he's got a bank.
If you want to buy some jewelry with crypto, you can go do it through him. If you want to buy some jewelry with your crypto.
I met the main dude from that project Voltoro or whatever it's called, and it's like you use crypto to buy their token, and then they put gold in a vault somewhere or something like that. But it's more legit than it sounds. They care a lot about. So there's a thing about how like if your gold is like just lumped in with everyone else's gold, and then a government comes in and seizes it, they just take everyone's gold. If one person commits a crime and your gold is in with their gold. But this is done in a way where it isolates your gold away from everyone else and stuff like that.
Allocated storage. They call it allocated storage.
Thanks, Jexxa.
But that didn't work out.
So I'll give you a bit of history. So I was originally going to start a gold-backed crypto many moons ago, and there's a reason. Like I thought that having gold underpinning a crypto would be the ultimate. That would be the best thing you could do. And when I actually went down that rabbit hole and understood how a lot of the gold storage works and how the industry works and the cost of storing gold and all this other shit, it turns out that it put me more in love with Bitcoin and crypto as a pure play because of it. Just the way you still have to have it all custody in vaults, and it's an absolute bloody nightmare. So you know all the rhetoric about not being transportable and all that kind of stuff. But if you want, it would be so easy for that gold to be seized by whoever is in power at that particular time. If they went into the vault and said, "Mate, we're taking it," walking with guns and tanks and whatever, you're only looking at a 40-year chart.
That was a classic line.
Anything like this, where there's historical examples of where it has happened in countries where you wouldn't expect, it is just not debatable that is possible to happen. I don't understand how people are like, oh, that couldn't happen here. It's like, bro, are you joking? It happened there and there and there. Do you think they thought it was going to happen? Especially with stuff that's been going on lately. It's pretty obvious now. But it's true. It's true. I've had the same thing where I've considered like diversification into other assets, and I always come directly back to crypto, where I'm like, this is just a no-brainer.
Okay, so that's the storage. That's the storage thing, which I think is a fundamental issue because of the trust side of things. But then to try and shoehorn that into the crypto space, the regulatory concerns around it and the issues with it is just next level. Because
it almost gives them an excuse to confiscate it. They're like, wait a second, all this gold here is like somehow related to crypto, but crypto's for criminals. Like, and just even if they don't think that, they can just run that pitch and then just go and take it. I mean, they're using. I think they use
basically it's a derivative of the gold underneath it. So it's you end up in securities issues and it's a whole lot of messing around. So long and short of it is, sorry,
and that Voltoro didn't work out, did it?
No, there's a few of them kicking around. There's one that I haven't checked in on for ages, but I thought they had a pretty reasonable model. It was a silver one.
But I saw that interview. It was with Stokesy, yeah? Is that the one that you saw, Tangent? It was with the guy who started... The guy who started Voltoro.
Yeah. I actually recently met him in person.
Oh, so he's an Aussie dude, yeah? But he's living...
That's right.
Somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I did see the interview you're talking about though, because it reminded me about it. I was like, oh shit, I met that guy. Like,
I was like, in that interview, he said it didn't work out because of those reasons.
That dude is tall as fuck, by the way. Like, I'm tall, and this dude towers over me. That guy is tall, like really tall. Did he say it didn't work out? Shit.
Yeah.
But was that true? What was that?
That's why he's doing something else now.
Oh, the gold thing didn't work out.
Yeah.
I went through it all and I got to the point.
For that reason,
fundamentally really
it costs
hard.
too much to do all of that stuff. So you're paying a premium on all of that gold.
Yeah. So it actually, the cost to store it all just makes it's not feasible. And you don't get a yield on it.
So maybe you're right.
So this is the thing that sort of got me really turned on to HEX in the initial days, because I was looking at the gold thing, and gold, you can't get a yield on it. Just lump a thing that sits in a vault. And Bitcoin is, as we know, it's very much like that. It's digital gold, but you can't get a yield on it. So when I see HEX come along, it was like, holy shit.
Here's the other problem, right? If you're like, no, I'm not about that. I'm not about that having to trust a third party. I'm going to store it myself. Yeah. As soon as you take custody of gold, then when you want to sell it, because it's been in your possession, they have to test it. So that to test gold properly, to make absolutely sure it's not a fake, they have to roll it into like very thin sheets and test it. You can't test it while still in bar form.
Don't know about that. Not sure about that.
I know there's a lot of absolutely sure. If you want to be absolutely sure, there's no like NDT, like non-destructive testing, to make absolutely sure that it's not fake gold or like mixed in with other stuff.
I know they use a lot of guns to just analyze it sort of stuff, but I don't know. I'm not sure about that one in tangent. I'd have to. You might know a bit more about that than me.
I think those tests are they help, but I think if you want to be like sure, you know what I mean? I think those tests can still be faked. Like you could, if they know, you know.
So there's one called there's a silver one called Load, and they actually had a pretty good thing going, like a pretty good model. But I'd have to go back and see where the website's still up and they're kicking around. Whether or not they've been successful, I don't know.
Load,
but the reality is
LOAD.
LODE, as in like a gold.
I should know that.
But it's still not a good investment if you're a minimalist and you don't like baggage and you don't like a lot of clutter. Crypto is still a great investment. No worries, no cares, no problems. Not tied down.
Oh yeah, it smokes everything in. It smokes absolutely everything.
Yeah,
it's just incredible.
Absolutely.
But you know what, guys? T-shares are king, and Hedron is a proxy to the king.
Hedron's the right hand man that does all the dirty work. I don't know if that analogy is sound. I just made it up.
Yeah, don't know how that went down.
Lots of plum trees, a sheep, a two, a kangaroo, a clothesline out the back.
That's a knife. All I had was me undies on.
Hey, welcome to Hexagon Legends. So this week our Hexagon legend is Hextra FOMO Sapien. He's at PulseX Day OG on Twitter. Now he made a tweet and he says, "I fucking hate my boss today. He asked me what coin he should buy, and I told him to buy heavy in SHIB and Flocky." And he goes, "Yeah, I hate him that much." What a fucking legend. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo.
Wait, so did he do it just to fuck him up? Like, was he just did it in the wrong?
He did it to fuck him over.
Oh my god!
What a legend, eh?
Yeah. Love it.
So tangent, just to circle back on the silver thing, I can't see those
Yep.
tokens anywhere on CoinGecko.
Yeah,
so it
I
looks
couldn't
like it's
find
just
them
gone
either.
out of
I
it's gone
couldn't-
out of existence.
yeah.
So I think any project that tries to tie that physical metal to crypto doesn't seem to hang around too long.
Mm.
What was the major one back in 2017, 18?
Well, I guess the other thing is the thing that Richard keeps saying is that as soon as a blockchain project touches the real world, it effectively breaks currently.
Yeah.
Currently.
Yep.
So you are actually, by that golden rule, you shouldn't even be trying to do that because
You bring trust into the system, don't you?
you're
Yeah.
entering physical world trust into a
Yeah.
yeah, no, I can't remember any that predate Volterra in terms of trying to do that stuff.
Do you remember one GDX? What was they called? Gold. I don't even know if they're still around. They used to be a top. I think they were in the top 10 at one stage.
Really?
Yep.
Damn. I don't remember them.
I can't even find them now. It was gold, something gold. Yeah. There's just they don't even see them on the ranking sites anymore.
I mean, there was Bitcoin Gold, and that had nothing to do with gold. They just thrown the
Gold,
word
yeah,
in
that's
there.
right. Yeah.
Mm. You know, someone came up with a rule for like, in terms of just a golden rule or like a rule of thumb for something that you should assume is probably a scam is anything that has the word of another cryptocurrency in it added with another word. So like Ethereum Prime or like Ethereum like whatever, except for Ethereum Classic, obviously, or like and all the Bitcoin ones, Bitcoin Diamond, Bitcoin Gold, Bitcoin this, Bitcoin that, and all the Ethereum ones. So it's lucky that HEX, because you know how originally HEX was going to be Bitcoin HEX. So it would have fallen under that category if we hadn't exited. I'm so glad we exited that idea.
I'm glad too.
Can you imagine if HEX was still called Bitcoin HEX? That would be so weird, right?
I know. It's got its own identity now. It's away from that.
It's a weaker name. Bitcoin HEX is a weaker name than just HEX.
Yeah, I agree.
Weak. Yeah.
Hey, so guys, are we? Do you guys want to do bitch tits for the week?
Yeah.
I saw a comment from someone that said they're just here for the tits.
Are they? Well, let's give them some tits then. Hang on.
David Morales, it was.
Yeah, that's right.
I wish there was a way. I wish there was a way with Restream just to put everyone up at one time instead of having to click like everyone on one by one.
Yeah, like just
makes sense. Surely that should be easy to do, hey?
I can't even remember what I guessed last week. I think I've been going large every week.
I can't remember what I guessed either.
Everyone's just taking the piss now with all their comments.
Yeah, I think as soon as
they've all figured out how to do it.
Did Vladimir Putin vote this week?
I think I threw one in. I think I threw one in that was text on both the entry and the answer.
Yeah, I think I know that one.
I can't remember what I wrote though. I just remember that I did it.
All right, hang on. Let me get a chart up. All right, so we've got the starts of a green candle. That's good. So it's just ticked over. Everyone's miles off again. Ooh, hang on.
We're like 14.1 cents at the moment. We've actually just had a decent pump over the last half hour.
I thought I was pretty bearish last week. I can't remember. Not enough.
Not bearish enough.
We have someone in the chat who's a little bit upset that of your selection this week on Hexagon Legend, Sammy.
Yeah, I saw that, and I told him to get a sense of humor up him.
Who was that? What happened? I missed that one flying by. The chat's been off the hook tonight. I can't keep up with it all.
It was Hedrologies going, oh, he doesn't deserve to be Hexagon legend because he shielded Flocky and Shib. You know, come on.
Yeah, it's a joke. This, you know, a lot of the stuff we do on this show is just for entertainment purposes. Look, I've got to say, if there was going to be someone else who deserved to be a Hexagon legend, Alex. Yeah, Alex from Hedron definitely deserves it. True. Definitely deserves it. So I see your point, Hedrology. However, Hexagon Legends is Sammy Chicka's segment, and she decides who the Hexagon Legend is. So that's that. Back to bitch tits.
All right.
Maybe every now and then we can throw in who be like, oh, I would have picked this person. Like I would just throw in like, oh, I would have picked me, but.
Oh, you know what we could do? We could extend the guessing, and we could make this interactive, and maybe live on stream people could vote.
Wait. How about everyone gets to say who they think they would pick, and then Sammy just gets to come in with the big veto and be like, "Fuck y'all, it's this person."
But you know
this is a green room discussion. It's a
really good idea.
We don't want to take Sammy's decision,
guys. It's a really good idea to take suggestions because it's hard for us to come up with them. So it's like let people come in with suggestions.
So next week, let's vote if we reckon we should give suggestions.
I reckon no. I'm saying everything that I was suggesting just then, I think should happen.
What's going on right now?
Sammy has already made the decision.
Is this some sort of democratic process? Do you guys think this is a democratic process? There are two people who make decisions about this stream, uNrekt and me. That's it. There is no democracy.
What decisions is uNrekt making?
Where is uNrekt?
He made a decision not to show up tonight.
Yeah, that's the only one he's made.
By the way, OG43, I had a specific person compliment the show this week on the segments. He loved the segments. He's an Aussie dude. He says he loves coming home and kicking back on a Tuesday night, and he loved the segments. He said, do more segments. So that's a bit of feedback.
Cool.
Nice.
I like it. We still haven't worked out the the Bloobum shut up segment where you tell someone to shut the fuck up. I think we know who. I think we know who wins that this week. Right, Bluey.
Shut up.
Oh, is he allowed to tell someone to shut the fuck up who's not even in the chat? Like, just goes broad, just like.
Yeah, no, Bluey, we'll have a segment called "Shut the Fuck Up."
But what is that segment? What do I do? I just say "shut up." I don't get it.
The fun part is that someone in the community has said some shit that's out of line, out of place.
Okay, that's obvious then. Okay.
Okay, and
Maddie,
then you just
I get it.
The fuck up.
I get it. 43.
I think we have to start that segment next week because we know who.
That's gonna get cut. And
43. I'm on the same page, bro. I'm reading like a book.
We're trying to bring everyone off their box.
These views and opinions are only the views and opinions of Bloobum.
Wait, this is hilarious. I wasn't going to bring this up, but Ross Hex put, when we're talking about how everyone's allowed to nominate people, he put, I nominate Maddie. just only because it's only funny just because of the fucking controversy that would cause. Fucking hell.
Man. All right, let's do this. Let's do bitch tits, eh?
All right, so we're going to call it at 14 cents and a bit of change. And closest by default was Shaggy. I don't know if Shaggy's in the chat.
Shaggy.
Raise your hand if you're in the chat. Shaggy.
Shaggy.
Man, I was pretty close.
Everyone.
Justin Trudeau.
Yeah, Justin Trudeau. He was still way off the mark. And I'm assuming this is you.
Was Trudeau bullish or bearish?
Bullish.
He was super bullish.
666.
Okay, who's going to own up to Hitler's ghost?
That was me. But you have to read the other part of it though. Otherwise, it just sounds ridiculous.
Yeah, compare it. I had a budget.
Tangent as a mad cunt.
right. So
There's some good
Shaggy
ones,
was
though.
in the chat. So officially, Shaggy, you're the bitch.
Shaggy's
tits of
in the
week.
chat. Congratulations, Shaggy. You are bitch tits of the week.
Congrats,
Well done, mate.
Shaggy.
The rest of
Good
us,
on
Well
we're going to lift
done.
our games. We were way off.
I was
Well
I
done,
wasn't too
Shaggy.
far off. I was 16.4.
I was way off
off.
the mark. I was up at. I was a little bit too ambitious at 24 cents.
I'm going fucking large every week from now on until whichever week I get it right.
Yeah, you want to just hit the jackpot. One week you'll hit it.
I'm all in.
And
I'm all in on that.
Bluey
And then
gets
you'll be
the
like,
on-stream
I
hit.
told you guys I was.
Then I'm gonna do the furu tactic. I'm like, yeah, I've been telling you guys, fucking so right. I'm always right. Look at the chart.
Poor T-Bird never wins. Never
He was
gets
close.
it right.
He wasn't.
Was
wasn't
he?
too far off. Yeah, he was at 17 cents.
Poor T-Bird. Hey, send my love. I'm sending out my love to you, T-Bird, because I know you're underwater, nearly
Yeah,
underwater.
and
So-
isolated and like
and stay safe and stay dry and leave if you can.
yeah.
I think he's probably in the best position out of all of us. He's self-sufficient, aren't you, mate? You pretty much
Tin Tops
live there without any. You got your own power, own food. I think that's right, isn't it?
What a tin
Yeah,
top,
but
though.
only so
I
much.
saw that tweet. Yo, Tin Top's comment for the replacement disclaimer. You know when it's like, these views are not held by the station or whatever. He's got, these views and opinions are held by the majority of the community. By the way, that's not aimed at anyone. I just think that's funny in its own right. Like I'm not aiming at that one at anyone in particular. For the record, I really like Matty. I've got nothing against him. So
Yes,
I
well.
don't think me laughing like a fucking maniac on this stream is like any sort of agreement.
Man, we laugh at everything. Bro, we laugh at everything on this stream. There is like, don't have to worry about that.
There's no pedestals. Nothing is sacred. Nothing is sacred.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that everyone on this stream has been told to shut the fuck up at one stage by someone else on this stream. I'm almost positive.
Yeah, that's true.
How many Hex streams can say that? Hey, how many? Not many.
I know.
Can I do a quick shout out to another Hexagon as well? Wolf of Wallets. He's doing videos in German.
Nice.
I tried to watch one. It looks like he's all over it, but I couldn't understand a bloody word. But he needs a few more subs as well. He's only got 189 subs over there. So Wolf of Wallets. He's doing content for Pulse, for a bunch of other things. I think I have to have a look and see what he's got there, but he's covering a bit of ground, so he's good for the community. So if we can go pump the like button over there, and hopefully you can get a few more views over there in Germany.
Cool. Hey, guys, I'm gonna love you and leave you. I really want to stay on tonight because I've had the best internet. It must be in my room that it works really well, but I got to wake up at 6 o'clock for work, and yeah, it's my last day for the weekend. So I love you and leave you, but thanks for having me.
Thanks,
and
Sammy.
Nice
So good to see you, Sammy. Love you,
I'll
heaps.
talk to you soon. I'll be here next
Good
week.
night.
Talk to you then. See you.
See ya.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, I think that's the best Sammy's audio has ever been.
Yeah, and the internet. For all of us, actually. Like everything is pretty smooth, hey. All good. Everyone's got good cameras tonight as well.
Yeah, I think we're doing well.
I think Day 43's upgraded his.
See, tyranny does have its benefits. You get, infrastructure projects, it's good.
Okay.
That's what I like about you, Tangent. You always look at the glass half full.
Yep. So, guys, seriously, we've been going sideways in Hex for like 6 months now.
God.
Longer.
Oh my God. Tell me about it, bro. Say less.
7, 8 months.
Say
okay.
less.
So how long, like, let's be like, when are we going to see the pump? Is it just going to be when the fork gets announced that people are then going to ape into and buy as much Hex as they can for the fork? Do you think that's when it's happening?
I'm going to say April.
I was hoping end of the sack. I was hoping end of the PulseX sack was, in fact, not just the end of the sack, the end of the bonding curve part. Like I thought, as soon as it went to flat rate, we were going to moon like shit.
But we hadn't really finished like a double bottom though, so it's not the end of the world. Like it's looking.
I'm going to say.
Oh yeah, we're making higher lows.
Yeah.
I'm going to say end of March, start of April. And the reason I'm giving is that because from the start, we knew that this was going to come in waves. Because that's how network effects kind of like work. People have to get the word out, and then those people have to get like telling those other people, and those people have to act. And for that to take effect over time, like it's going to come in waves. And so that's why.
So sorry, Bluey. When you said that, it just made me think of Carlos Matos in the BitConnect scam, where he was like, "We are coming, and we are coming in waves." Do you remember that?
I missed that whole thing. I was in crypto at that time, and I didn't even know about BitConnect. How did that happen, hey?
But yeah, I think
you didn't even know about it.
Didn't even know about it. I only found out about it when I found out about that Hex was being compared to it.
Ah, right.
And I was like, what was BitConnect? I didn't even like know that was a thing.
I was surprised when I looked at the monthly chart. I thought that we had been going sideways or down for quite a bit more than 6 months, because obviously in crypto it feels like an eternity, but it's actually only been 6 months. So as long as we make a new all-time high sometime next month, then I think we're G for that rule to still, although, no rules. I heard something recently which I absolutely loved. Models, by definition, cannot take into account unexpected events, because that is the. I
thought you were talking about like.
We'll think about
fashion models,
like your people you're partying with.
I can see why you guys would think that.
I was thinking the exact.
Were you guys
same
worried? Were you guys worried for what I was about to say? Like you're like, I was
really interested, So what models can't take into account? Yeah, models are like
a mathematical model by definition does not take into account unexpected events, because it's based on what you expect, I guess. So yeah, I thought that was quite interesting.
Well, if you go onto my Twitter, there's a very interesting. I've pinned a video which I don't know where I found it, but it's some dude talking about HEX, not HEX the cryptocurrency, but HEX. It's a model that if you constrain a system to 6 variables, then you can get meaningful data out of it. But as soon as you start having more variables, it just exponentially adds to the options or the possibilities, and therefore it's the problem of having too much data, of getting any meaning out of it. But if you constrain a system to just 6 variables, you can get meaningful data, because it's just enough to make it interesting. But at the same time, it has complexity. But you can understand it.
I've heard a very similar thing for human decision making. That if you give someone,
I was about to say
give someone like a small set of indicators, they actually make very reasonable and quite appropriate decisions.
Was it ice cream flavors?
If you
ice cream flavors, was that the one?
Right. Yeah. If you flood them with too many options, then it just becomes
goes into overload. Yeah.
You watch any good salesperson will take from a group of things, and they'll slowly whittle you down just to pretty much 1 or 2 options. So, and it's like, okay, so which one would you go for? And the classic example of it, I was ever in London and just walking along the street, and a guy just jumps out of a car and he goes, "Hey, Gav, come over here, mate, and got some watches for you." And he takes you and he shows you all the watches, and I didn't even like any of them, but I go, "No, okay, let's just go along for the journey here." And it was masterful the way he got me from not even liking any of these watches down to, okay, you've just got to pick one of these ones, mate, like between these two. And I was like, that's pretty cool, buddy. I didn't buy one, but it was interesting just to see how he went through the whole process. I was like, okay, I wonder how many people he gets with that.
Yeah.
It's a real skill, I think, being able to do that.
Sell people watches.
Yeah.
Sell Richard Harder watch.
That's not hard.
Oi. Guys,
Set the price high.
yo, legit. I met this chick and she was talking about this guy that lives in my city, in our city, Jexxa, who's like a legit billionaire. And she was like, oh, I had to sign this NDA going to his house that I wouldn't like put shit on social and shit like that. But she did take photos of his watch collection that are on her phone. And I was like, I bet you it's not going to be as crazy as like our coin founder's watch collection. And she showed me, and it absolutely smoked the fuck out of Richard's watch collection. I shit you not. It was like 20 times more watches. It was absolutely insane. It was like think of like a wardrobe that you'd have clothes in, filled with freaking watches.
That's so interesting, hey? So, but that guy does the opposite of Richard. Richard like buys the watches so he can have them on stream, so he can garner whatever reactions out of people. Yeah. This guy makes people sign NDAs saying they won't let that information out. Like
and meanwhile, the information gets out on our stream.
I immediately admitted I was wrong. Like I didn't.
Tangent.
I wasn't.
Lucky
I wasn't
you
like,
didn't sign the NDA.
Yeah.
You're lucky you didn't sign the NDA, mate, because you just let the cat out of the bag there.
No. I think
pictures.
All she's not allowed to do is like post them publicly. Like she's allowed.
All we know is there's a billionaire in some city that has some watches.
She didn't stealth take them. He let her take the photos. It was just that she wasn't allowed to post them up yet. And so she didn't send me the photos or anything. She just showed them to me on her phone. But I couldn't believe it.
Guys, meanwhile, Richard Hart is just getting started with that watch collection.
I know. I could have said that. Like, I could have said that to her and been like, oh, well, Richard's going to buy more watches soon. He'll have more like watches, better watches, more expensive watches.
He won't.
But I just admitted I was just shocked. And I was like, you know what? I was wrong about that. That is insane. Like that is
you know why I reckon Richard won't get any more?
He'll have as many as he can fit on the screen. Pardon?
Yeah.
Filled up his little cabinets. He doesn't need any more.
Dude, Richard is going to get a watch made out of that fucking black diamond. It's going to be this massive fucking watch just sitting on his fucking wrist.
Yeah, if only.
What's happened with that? Has he got the diamond in his possession?
Well, he was saying he was having problems paying with it because he couldn't pay with crypto. Okay,
but you know what would be crypto, but then
would be interesting. Who gives a shit what happens to that fucking thing now? He got the
that's who cares.
For it.
Yeah.
Like, don't pay for it.
Yeah.
Like, give it back. You don't want crypto? Okay, you can have it back. Like, I've got my publicity for it. I've got that's what the reason I bought it. Like, that's all.
You would get double the amount of publicity because then they'd have to explain why he couldn't pay for it and have to go back up for auction.
Stroke of genius.
What was that meme? There was some meme about him. Oh, there was it was a fake Onion news article where it said that Richard took that diamond and threw it through Satoshi's window, like just went around his house and threw it through the window. And called him, like said that he was like a weak ass bitch for like hiding and not coming out and supporting the coin. Threw it through his window. It was a joke, obviously.
Was that our chat, like the Hex Late Show chat, where like someone posted a picture of a black diamond butt plug?
Yeah.
Was that our one? No.
No, I don't remember that.
No, that was one. That was one that me and you were in. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'll put it in our chat so you guys can see it. It was pretty funny. Yeah. It's pretty funny.
Okay, oh yeah, it's funny.
No, it's not. It's not in use. It's just fucking on the table, bro. It's
has Richard been super quiet lately? I haven't seen much. I mean, I liked that tweet that he put out about showing that HEX is the highest volume on Uniswap V1 and V2 if you exclude things like stables and like ETH and ETH based like wraps and Bitcoin wraps and shit like that. Then HEX is actually highest volume? Yeah, highest traded volume on V2 and V3.
You know, Hedron was number 6 of total gas usage in terms of contracts.
Yeah,
I can imagine it would have been. Yeah, it would have been. They would have just been getting caned. Everyone was going through and doing them all at once. So I was actually, I was thinking that. I thought it would be interesting to see whether it did get up there. I'm sure that'll quieten down pretty quickly, but it was good. Yeah.
Is there a website for going and doing this mint thing? I haven't done it yet.
The Hedron.pro. Yeah, and you just click on the DApp. And
Hedron.pro.
You mean
Okay.
you mean if you want to make an HSI stake? Yeah,
No. If I want to claim the mint, claim an existing stake. You go to that one. Hey,
you just go to the Hedron.
Yeah. Sick.
Thing.
Got it.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So someone just said Bitcoin pumping. It's trying to break through.
BTC's been going nuts. Do you know? I did a bit of a rookie move actually. I have to admit. When I saw that Bitcoin had just rocketed like $6,000 in like under 4 hours or some crap, I bought quite a bit of HEX. I was just like, this is so positive for crypto as a whole. You know my opinion that Bitcoin is fundamental to the health of the overall crypto market, but just completely slipped my mind that when Bitcoin is caning like that, it can just suck the air out of the room and just absolutely fuck alts. And so that was a bit of a mistake. But I still think if the overall market sentiment stays positive, then all the other alts should follow soon.
I just don't give a shit
where
about
it is. Stuff. But you've got to, because it does have an impact on the overall how everyone's feeling in the market.
I know. Yeah,
not long term.
I know that diehard Hexagons genuinely believe that Bitcoin is irrelevant, but I think they're fucking wrong. Like if Bitcoin went to like sub 10K right now, I think you would see the rest of crypto just get absolutely fucked. Like,
but it's not even that.
But that's just my opinion, and I don't think we'll.
That's what the diamond's going to get turned into,
right?
This is what would happen to crypto if Bitcoin goes down to under 10K. That is.
I disagree with that tangent. I reckon if Bitcoin
I know a lot of people in Hex community will disagree with this, but I firmly believe.
I mean, are you going to sell any of your Hex if Bitcoin goes down to 10K? You're going to panic sell, really?
I won't, but a shitload of people will.
I disagree.
A shit ton of people will.
Well, and what are they going to go into? USDC?
Not off the.
Like, really?
Not from where we are now. Not from where our chart is now. I couldn't see that happen. But what will happen is the rest of the crypto, if Bitcoin tanks and ETH goes with it, because it always does, then that has a kick on to all the other things in the DeFi world that are running there. You will get people they'll stop participating in the market. They'll go to ground, and it'll grind.
Yeah, like the last 6 months, Bluey, have shown that the Hex community is not all diamond-handed. Like, otherwise the chart wouldn't look like balls. So there are people that do get scared. There are people that panic sell. There are people that take profits. And if Bitcoin went sub 10K, that no one is safe. Like, as in, I would say that there would be a shit ton of selling across all crypto. Hex might survive the best out of everything, but everything is going to take fucking shots. Like, everything would get damage. If this is a sort of...
And how long do you reckon it'd take until everything just started going back up again?
No idea.
I mean, it's just like...
something that I believe that I agree... Something I agree with Tone Vase is that when it comes to like recoveries from bear markets, there has to be pain either in price or time. So if everything went down super hard, then it could actually be quite a quick recovery. People talk about these V-shaped recoveries. But if everything just like sort of like went down fairly hard, but then just slowly died and sideways and down and death forever, then that could just be some prolonged bullshit. So it really depends. Like it depends how the crash happens and how the bear market starts, and to be able to.
What do you reckon that? Look, I don't really know. What do you reckon the sentiment is out there? outside of the Hexagon community, like in the general crypto community. What do you reckon the sentiment is?
Hopium.
Yeah, I still think they're in the hope stage. But we didn't have a big blow off top. If this was the end of the market, it wasn't a big blow off top. So that could mean we don't need to have the depths of despair, like really deep V sort of bottom either.
Yep.
So it might just be a more tapered or dampened sort of market now. It's getting enough maturity now and enough liquidity in there where it's not doing these big wild swings from peak to trough. So maybe it is like Tangent's saying it's more just time pain now, where we're just trending sideways in this big sideways movement for, well, it's been over a year. It's been doing this now, hasn't it? So let me just have a quick look. I think it was about 300 days or something. Where are we? 322 days from peak to where we are now. That's a long time to just be chopping sideways.
That's
and
for
if we
Bitcoin? For Bitcoin or
this
for...
is Bitcoin. Yeah. This is for Bitcoin. So if we just continue that sideways chop until we meet the long-term trend, it would end up being about 470 days. That's a long time to not have growth in crypto. So maybe it doesn't need to do that big tank. Who knows?
Bluey, I keep an eye on the main, like the biggest channels, so the highest followed YouTubers, because I know that a lot of people just literally lap their shit up, right? Like they just watch those channels and their opinion is that opinion. They just believe it. And I've been reasonably happy with the attitudes that those guys have maintained. It's like almost like they're maturing a little bit as well, even though they are on the regular, not, they can be dumbasses, but they have improved over the years in terms of their attitudes. And so I like the fact that none of them are like ridiculously bullish, telling everyone that we're going immediately to like 150K USD Bitcoin. And none of them are like, oh my God, it's a crash. Like, do you know what I mean? Like Richard's probably the only one out there telling people that the prices are going to 10K. And
what do you think? What do you think of this comment, Tangent? What do you think of this comment?
Wouldn't be there. I'm of the opinion that I don't believe that I'm not like, no, Bitcoin has to be around forever. It is possible that Bitcoin could become a thing of the past at some point, but I don't see that in the short term. So for anyone to act like Bitcoin could never be usurped is ridiculous. But for people to say that it's already dead is also ridiculous.
Could they ever do
those extremes yet?
Is the Bitcoin community capable of having a socially agreed upon fork, like where they just fork away from the proof of work to something that's more sustainable, perhaps? And because the thing about the Bitcoin community is a lot of them are just like, it has to be proof of work, otherwise it's not.
There's so many vested interests now, though. Like big miners have outlaid a lot of capital, big.
Yeah, I think you would only see a fork like that if it was an existential threat to Bitcoin. So like if someone
coding
it's like quantum computer being able to hack the cryptography or something like that, then they would fork and there would be consensus. I think
inflation bug,
anything short of that. So, yeah, something like that. Yes. Then they
can't fix the inflation bug, so they're like, okay, we've got to do some development now.
Something that changes Bitcoin that just is seen as like an improvement. I don't think they're going to be able to ever hard fork for that. Because and like you said yourself, Day 43, a lot of people in the Bitcoin community, I would say a majority, do not believe that proof of work is a waste of energy. They believe that is actually necessary, and arguments can be made to support that. That the cost of security should be something that is external to the network, that is not priced in the native token. That's the main argument.
Why is that an argument? Surely you just want to secure the network. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, but they're saying that the security relies on.
But the argument can be that the value that is built into Bitcoin is because there has been real world dollars spent on building that value. But that's what Tangent's saying.
But that's a circular argument.
No, I totally agree. I'm not saying that's fact, but what I'm saying is people see that as all the work that's gone into creating each Bitcoin. That's what gives it its value.
I do like Richard's counter to that, that cost is not value, and that cost is the price that you pay. Value is what you get. So I do like his counter to that. But without going into this too deeply, I think there is an argument to be made for. There's a website called endthefud.org, and I believe that I think it might even be the first section is on the FUD that surrounds Bitcoin to do with energy usage. It's one of the early sections, but it's somewhere in there. And if you read through that, there's excellent explanations. So rather than me wasting time going through it verbally now, those are probably the best arguments I've ever seen concisely about why proof of work is actually important to stay proof of work. But what else are we talking about in terms of, so Bitcoin being usurped? Yeah, it's possible.
At the moment.
But if they wanted to, just before we get to like move on, but if you wanted to improve Bitcoin, right? What if you just said, okay, we want to improve Bitcoin, so we're not using this, this code has so much potential for problems if anything's changed. So either you just leave it the same, or you could improve it, right? You could improve it if you did like some sort of fork onto another network that had, better design code.
43, I think the best analogy here is the internet one, where there's internet protocols that were not the best they could possibly be, but because the protocol got so ossified, like it was so widely accepted and used, it became very difficult for them to upgrade later. Yeah, so SFTP, the IPv4 or whatever, like so. Some of those things were not, and I think you could even say PowerPoints, like in PowerPoints in your house, they're probably not like the best design, but once it's so broadly accepted, it's very difficult to make those changes. I mean, Bitcoin might be slightly easier, but so sometimes the technology that wins, the point here is not about how upgradable something is. It's that sometimes the technology that wins is not necessarily the technology that is the most advanced and the best, most optimized solution. That first mover advantage, like, you know what I mean? That can be, first mover advantage / adoption rate and widely accepted as a standard. And now you see Bitcoin being accepted by nation states, legal tender in El Salvador. Other countries have actually already got bills and plans to make Bitcoin legal tender / have it as reserves and those sorts of things. That is very difficult for any other crypto to catch up on. I'm just being real about this. Like that is.
You're getting called a boomer, by the way. You're getting called a boomer in the chat.
In the crypto space, I'm the equivalent of a boomer. Yes, but I'm just laying out the challenges ahead. It's not impossible. It's not impossible. There could always be something that could allow. It is possible that Bitcoin could get dethroned. It is possible.
Oh, what do you mean even dethroned? How do you even compare them? If you're talking about usage, it's already been dethroned. Like it's only market cap that hasn't been dethroned, and market cap is just it's a dumb way of comparing these things.
I don't see why everyone's in such a hurry to try and to see its demise. Like it's paving the
we can win together. You're right.
Yeah, exactly.
We can win together.
Yeah. So this is one of the first sectors, and this is why I really like the crypto space. It's one of the first sectors where retail can front run.
Yes.
Yeah, because you can just start using something else.
So we get to participate in. We're on the leading edge. We get to participate in projects that are very early and have no liquidity because institutions can't. They've got big balance sheets. They need to move masses of money into some asset, and if they can't do that, so if they get in, they're going to move the price too much against themselves. So there's not enough liquidity for them to buy in, or they can't exit in a hurry if they need to exit. They're not going to go into it. So that's why you've got all these
on NFTs.
Yeah,
that's a really good point,
totally
Jexxa. That's a really good point.
Yeah.
That is a really good point.
So you get this stratification, and it's great to have Bitcoin as this investment thing where all these guys can come in and they can get a taste of the market, and then they're already starting to go into ETH and things like that. And that's fine because all that will eventually filter down into all the other components that we know and we use because we can be nimble and we can get involved in these really low cap gems. So
I mean, Richard even drew that analogy with the stock market in the shift debate where he said we can all win together. It's not. It's not. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's a really good point. Like your point is a really good point. Yeah. So I guess I always feel the need to clarify that Hex is my boy, and I do believe that Hex will have the best price appreciation. So if all anyone cares about is making mad gains, then the Hex versus BTC debate like ends immediately, and you just go straight to Hex. I've always said that. I've never steered away from that, but I always defend BTC in other respects for various reasons.
So do we?
We'll get there. We'll get world domination soon, Bluey. We've just got to we've got to take a few years yet.
Give it a couple of months.
Yeah, that's it.
Hey guys, we've been going for a couple of hours. Do we want to wrap it up?
Yeah. Did we do the? We have to. Have you guys all voted? Have you for? So not voted.
Oh, we forgot about this, didn't we?
Jeez, so we put the.
What is it?
Guys, a couple of things. Can you go and click the like and subscribe? That would be fantastic if you could do that. We'd really appreciate that. It helps us show up in front of people on YouTube and perhaps get a few more views. And
we don't normally beg for likes and stuff, do we? But I think it's important
so it's
get the algorithm going.
Titbit.ch.
Titbit.ch. Yep.
Yeah.
Titbit.ch.
So I think I'm going to go with. I think I'm going to do 25.6 cents. I know I said I was going to go large, but I think I'm just going to go realistic.
I'm just going to go a bit of sideways action, I think.
Yeah. Does anyone have any like final stuff?
A little bit
that they want to throw down?
I'm putting 16.7 in. And I can't wait to see some of the more creative answers to this competition for next week.
We haven't got anywhere. Oh, we're just going to ask them on stream, hey? For
what's that?
For what they think for Hexagon Legend. Is that what you're saying, Bluey?
Yeah, just if you think there's someone out there who's a Hex legend, like and maybe has an image associated with it, is always handy. Like, just send it along to us, and if we think it's good, we'll put it in.
Put it on Twitter. Tag it. Hashtag.
No, we want to surprise people. Like,
yeah, that's a good idea.
People, no?
We still get to decide.
Okay.
We get to decide. Get some buzz around the
hashtag Hex Legend. Hexagon Legend.
By the way, Hex price has been pumping the entire time we've been on stream.
Oh, really? What are we on now?
So 14.2 cents. We were as low as like 13.5 cents just a few like hours
ago.
Dude,
I thought you were about to say 17 cents or some shit like that.
No, to be fair, like we used to get like it was a big thing to move a cent. Like to go up a cent.
You remember when we got to a cent? Remember when we got to 10 cents and we were streaming?
Yeah.
Like that
just
was
like like just popping bottles and just like
Oh, man.
That's the thing. You build a tolerance to the gains.
Yeah.
Totally. Do you remember there were times when people were talking about like 100x's and people in the Hex community were just like 100x. What? Like that used to be the holy grail that people would go for in crypto was to get 100x.
Oh, really?
Just like, people were like, fuck that noise. I'm not buying it if it's only going to do 100x.
All right, guys. Final words.
Yeah, boys.
Hashtag submilfud.
Bluey.
That's my hashtag submilfud.
And this is. Can I just say this is the last time we're going to be on the same continent streaming with you. Next time, if you can find a internet connection. You're going to be
able to. I should be able to.
Yeah,
really,
man. I'm still on the show, so I'll be coming on, and no idea what time it'll be wherever I am, but I'll be coming on for sure. And
where are you going? Rough, like, don't have to say exactly, but which part of?
No, I'm going to Las Vegas, man. I'm going to be in fucking Las Vegas. Let's do it. Yeah, I'm going to go, and I'm going indefinitely. I'm just going to go and travel the world, spread my wings, fly around. If anyone's got any good things for me to do and wants to invite me somewhere, go for it.
Bro, I think it's going to be early in the morning for you. I think if you're
Is
in
that
Vegas,
in Las Vegas,
I think it's
what
going to
time
be
is that?
like 3 or 2 o'clock in the morning or something like that.
Oof,
Hey,
oof,
you'll be
shit.
you'll just be coming home.
Yeah, you're just coming home from
Actually,
the
I
coming
take
home.
club.
back all of that.
So basically, you're going to go do some Hexagon couch surfing, are you?
I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go and like see what happens. See what's live in the
okay, right.
moment. See where the tide takes me. Team Money's been awesome. He kind of like has been helped me out with a letter of invitation to get out of Australia because I needed that. And he's also says he's got a room or something, and then someone else because I'm going to be on Crypto Sparbuch on what day? Wednesday, I don't know, one day in the next week, and then they wrote to me and said, "Oh, this person might have a room or some shit." Or so, yeah, I'm just gonna see what happens.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it, man. That's what, like less structure. I find if you start off with decent structure, like you go on holiday and you've got.
Well, I bought the plane ticket
just so that you don't like land and be like, oh shit, where do I sleep? Like you want like a little bit of a plan, and then from there you just freestyle.
You know what? I've even done that, and that's kind of fun as well. You know,
what just actually, landing and not knowing.
You know what? The very first time when I was 18 years old, I bought a one-way ticket to America. I landed in Los Angeles, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm here now. What do I do?
Crap! I respect the balls, man. I respect the balls. That's
dude. I like iBaseline's comment. Let's do bitch tits live from a strip club in Vegas.
Oh yeah, dude. You could stream in with us from your phone while you're out in Vegas.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, why not? I mean, I'm very used to being asleep at that time, but let's see what happens. Yeah, I'll come on. Maybe I'll be very sleepy, but
so when are you flying out, mate?
Tomorrow night.
Cool. And you're not stuck by the floods or anything. You can get there.
No, it's only Brisbane Airport's only like an hour away, and
okay. I thought it was pretty bad up there. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it was the other day, and up in Gympie is like full on, but you know, things flood and then the water subsides, and then it's all coolio in the gang. So
cool.
Oh, yeah,
good luck with it, mate.
I think it's going to work out.
All the best for that. Really nice. All the best for that. Just remember, bin your written seed phrases.
Oh yeah,
and then make sure that when you get there, you go for a trip on a boat. I'm just kidding. No, that's exciting shit, man. I'm excited for you. Like,
yeah. I'd love to have a chat with Maddie in person. No, seriously. I was talking about this today, right? Because it's like when everyone gets online and stuff, it's very easy to like blah, 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 blah. As soon as you're in the presence of another person, everyone gets real polite and really understands.
Yeah, it's a bit more. They start showing a bit more respect, don't they?
Yeah, totally. And it's like,
boy, and especially in America where you don't know who's strapped. So
yeah, right.
Everyone gets real polite. Everyone gets real polite in person.
I've got to give a shout out to chat. They've been very entertaining tonight as well. There's been lots of crazy
Chat's been amazing tonight.
Yeah, thanks, chat. We appreciate you all, guys. We're going to wind it up. Have a great rest of your day, evening, wherever you are in the world, and we'll see you next week on the Hex Late Show.